All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Film Hustlers. This is a very special edition of Film Hustlers because we talk about verticals so much on the show. And to be honest, until I spoke to our guests today, I really didn't know the extent of how big this really is. Because, look, in Hollywood, I think we have a tendency to sort of, just grab onto whatever the next thing is, and everyone's talking about verticals. Everyone's doing them. Everyone's, doing some sort of business with it. And when you ask them, like, how does it work? They're like, I don't know. We're just doing verticals. So Hollywood's like, it's definitely taken us by storm. So it's exciting to have our guests on today because they are actually involved in the business at the highest level and involved in verticals at the highest level, which is really cool. And if you guys are at home, get out your pencil and paper. This is going to be a good one. So I want to introduce myself, Mark Roberts. I'm your host. I'm a filmmaker, been one for 30 years, mostly in the indie space. Now I make a multitude of Christmas movies, and hopefully I'll keep doing that for a while. But I've got Kasey Esser here. Now, Kasey is an American actor. He's an entrepreneur. He's a breakout star of vertical dramas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I want to give a little bit more information on you because it's fascinating. You've starred in over 45 series. Maybe that's more now.
Yeah, now we're at 57.
57 series. That's amazing. Come on, Google, get it together. 500 million views across all platforms. That's probably higher now too.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into like your whole story, but that's pretty amazing. You're really, since Tommy's on the show, like you're really the Tom Cruise of verticals. I would think anyway.
So I called him.
That's right. So then we got Tommy Harper. Now, Tommy Harper uniquely is the most downloaded person on our show. Did you know that?
Wow.
No.
Your episodes are the favorites. Absolutely 100% the favorites. People love Tommy Harper and everything he does. And let me give you an idea of what he does. First of all, he's an executive producer, an entrepreneur. He did a Star Wars episode. What is that? 7? Geez.
7.
Made $2 billion. Alice in Wonderland, $1 billion. Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, $694 million. I mean, I can go on and on. The movies I like the best, clearly Mission Impossible are my favorites, but I also love Star Trek. I love all the Star Trek movies. I'm so enamored by them. So it's fun that you worked on those. Beetlejuice. And then recently you're in Ireland currently working on the 3rd season of Wednesday. Did I get all that right?
You forgot your favorite one.
What's my favorite one?
Anne's got to help you out. It's the airplanes.
Oh, what, Top Gun Maverick?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is my favorite one. Oh, I love them all. I can't believe I missed that one. But you guys, like the powerhouses in vertical and in motion pictures. Also, like just before we move on, like the amazing thing about you, Tommy, is you're like the go-to guy. Tom Cruise, all these amazing directors, producers, they all go to you to get these movies right. And that must be an amazing feeling to know that you're the person that J.J. Abrams goes to, that Tom Cruise goes to, that Jerry Bruckheimer goes to. It's pretty amazing.
It's great. I'm very thankful. I love my partners. We've talked about this before. I mean, to be able to be in the same room with them and work with them I'm here in Ireland working with Tim Burton, and I think we've known each other for close to 30 years, 27 years or something like that. So. And then Tom, I think I met Tom when I was, it's been about 22, 23 years.
That's
Same
amazing.
with JJ. So yeah, it's great.
That's amazing. So now somehow between all of these movies and all this work you do, you found time to start a vertical company. And Tom and Kasey, you guys started or are working with a company called Veyou. This is the first time I hear of it. Will you tell me about it?
Yeah, so Veyou is my tech platform that we spun up and we started. So basically, it's a distribution platform for microdramas. And if you go to the App Store next week, midweek, you will see it on there. And it's a place where you go, you click, you download, and we'll have licensed content and originals. And we have Love Under Fire, which we're extremely happy about, which we'll talk about, which is Kasey's one that he produced and starred in and financed. And it's a distribution platform, and we have all kinds of tech stack underneath it with AI intelligence to help us inform the decision making and marketing and things like that. And then outside of that, I spun up a little studio called Tiny Verticals where we will go make originals as well for the platform.
That's amazing. Well, before we get all into the new movie or the new series that you have, the big question for a lot of our listeners is going to be, how did you get started in verticals? And clearly, it's been around a lot longer than anyone thinks. Because I did do a little bit of research, and Quibi started, they launched in 2018, and between 218 and 220, there was clearly already the vertical world happening. It was happening back then. Mm-hmm. Maybe not at the level it's happening now, and maybe it was. I'm not sure. But tell me about how you got started in it, and what led you to where you're at, which is clearly the highest level of verticals.
Yeah, well, one of my main professional role models in life is Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I always was attracted to the idea of having multiple careers throughout my life. And when I moved to Los Angeles, I came out to open a personal training studio. So my first career was in fitness. That studio is still in Culver City. And then during the pandemic, it got to a point where I was like, okay, I told myself I would act someday. The business is good. Let's go into this. Let's give it a shot. And, I became I think most actors in the sense that I wasn't really doing anything at all, a thing here and there. And then, this was in early 2023. My agent and manager at the time were like, hey, we think you're really talented, but this isn't happening. It's not the best time. It was a bummer. Went back on the casting sites the next day.
And this is regular acting, right? You're talking about just series and movies and that.
Yeah, just the normal stuff.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
And so the next day I went on the casting sites and I saw a listing for a mobisode, which was how they were built at the time in 2023 as mobile episodes. And it was werewolf and it was different. And I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. So I, submitted, didn't hear anything. And then a friend of mine from acting class was like, hey, I know this producer from this real short company. I think you'd be good for this alpha werewolf character. I was like, oh, I actually submitted. They didn't respond back, but I'll message her. And they got back. They're like, hey, Kasey, we saw your resume. Basically didn't watch your tape, but we'll go back and we'll watch it. And I had it booked that night. And that happened to be, one of the first viral series in the United States. And it gave a proof of concept that microdramas could work here.
Wow. And
from there, it just became, I was booked ever since.
They say, or I've read that it was viral overnight. Is that how it happened? They released it and it was just it went crazy. People
yeah. That was
right?
my first experience with something like that. And just coming from the business world and seeing the response that was happening in so many different countries, that was what really stuck out to me. Was it'd be a message from Australia 1 hour, a message from Mexico another hour, and it was just so ubiquitous. And in my mind, I was like, Kasey, you got to go full in on this, no matter how cheesy it may seem right now, how skeptical people are of it. There is something great that can come of this. And if you don't seize this opportunity, you're going to regret it.
Wow. And I also read that you just said it, but your agents kind of let you down. They dropped you, right? Mm-hmm. And all this stuff came after that?
Directly after.
Oh, so they don't get a commission.
Oh, absolutely not. I'll sometimes still send them clippings of stuff that comes out because I'm a little petty like that, but they never respond.
Oh man, I gotta tell you, I love that. I love that that's the case because sometimes they just kind of glom on to whatever is working. So congratulations. I'm sure you have new agents now.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually just signed with the manager in January.
That's terrific. So after that happened, after that first one, because you made a lot of them. So was it rapid fire after that? You're like, they clearly had found someone that was working all over the world in all these different markets, right? So was it real shorts or was it continuous work with the same company or did you open it up? How did it work?
Yeah, in the beginning, it was mainly real short. I did my first 2 with them. And I remember they had a meeting with me after the first 2 that I did. And they said, are you getting hit up by Drama Box, Short TV, and I'd never heard of these places, but they knew what was coming. And then all of a sudden, all these apps come in copying exactly what they're doing. And, the first one that I did was called Faded to My Forbidden Alpha. And then a one that I did a little bit after that with a different app was called the Forbidden Alpha. And, so it was just like, they knew this was going to happen, that people were going to copy that success and just try to get me for other ones. And I'm thankful that I let myself kind of explore that and work with a bunch of different companies and not lock myself into anything and, really get the benefit of meeting so many great people.
Yeah. And you also, through all of this popularity, you actually have visited other countries, and you have fans in other countries. Was it the Philippines or?
Yeah, Philippines.
Yeah. How was that?
Yeah, that was like being a little bit like in an alternate reality, just because, I saw like the parasocial response, but you don't know if that's, real. But in my mind, I was like, I feel like we have to go over there and do something. So the woman Holly Wolfgram, who started Verticon, she had reached out to me earlier in the year and was like, hey, I'm doing this Verticon. Do you want to be a part of it? I was like, you seem really nice. I haven't worked with you before. Organize something for me in the Philippines and let's see how that goes. And she did, and put on the meet and greet. We did a speaking engagement. We did a vertical premiere, and just seeing how the fans responded over there was really just, again, ignited my enthusiasm for giving this space all that I can. And that's why the series Love Under Fire takes place in the Philippines. It's a love letter to their country as well.
Oh, that is so cool. We'll get into Love Under Fire because this is the exciting thing. This is coming out soon. In terms of the work in verticals, and since you've been doing it for a while, is it odd to see how much action there is on this now? So many conversations about it and everyone's doing it. Or does it just feel like it was always like that for you?
Definitely wasn't always like that. I mean, someone asked the other day, like, what's been the biggest difference from a press perspective? And I think in the beginning, the press was pretty negative.
Yeah.
Like it would, portray me positively, but it was pretty disparaging about the space overall.
Yeah.
Very skeptical. And now I see it being more like, oh, well, here's the opportunity here. Here's where it's going. We have all these people that are interested in it. Let's see what we can do with it. Let's make the most of it. And so that's been really encouraging to see.
So Love Under Fire it feels different, right? It doesn't feel like My Werewolf Billionaire Husband. It feels like an action movie. Like, it feels like Mission Impossible. Is that what you guys did, Tommy? I mean, was that sort of the plan?
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, Kasey wrote the script and came up with the idea. And I think when we sat down and talked about it, because when we first met, I just wanted to know about the business in general. But when we sat down and talked, he described it as Romance in the Stone. He wanted to make a romantic kind of action piece and kind of heighten the level up. And we shot up against LED walls. We were using AI effects for enhancements. In like for scene replace, for kind of like augmentation and explosions and things like that. So I think it was always just kind of the vision was to elevate the platform and kind of like bring it to a new level. And I think that's what he did. And when he wrote the script, and I was, of course, read it and I was shocked about the price tag, about what we could go do it for. But that's the beauty of it, because, he went and found a real airplane to shoot in. We had stunts on the set. We had motorcycles. We had all this stuff. And yeah, you wanted to just elevate it and make it kind of really fun.
He's not going to give you back your daughter unless you have me.
Jesus Christ, are you a pop star? You're Sherlock Holmes.
It's interesting because the technology is changing so fast. We had this moment in post where we were kind of like a hamster wheel chasing ourselves because, the AI models were coming out so fast, and we're trying to do like background replacements. So I think people are going to like it. They're going to feel like it's propulsive. It's got action. It's got comedy. It's got romance. It's got all the things that you want in a regular series film, and it's just set in the vertical space, so it's quicker and sharper.
That's awesome. And Kasey, you wrote, produced, starred in this, and
raised the money.
I mean, you did it all. But we also talked a little bit about using these screens, these LED screens to shoot on. Had you done that before?
No.
So how did that help production?
Well, I mean, I think one of the things that Tommy and I connected on right away was, with my life in this phase of my career, I want to do action movies. That's my passion.
Back to your Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
love, right?
exactly. Yeah. And to me, with my track record in the vertical space, it made sense to go out and make an action vertical because I actually think it sets up well for the space as is. Fast paced, cliffhangers, fun to watch. And, so when I was thinking about how to do one, I was like, how can we make the stunts look like they're from this huge, big budget movie, but just on vertical because no one's really tried that yet. And I knew, budget wise, we couldn't actually jump out of planes and do motorcycle jumps and all these things. But, when you find that the budget is limited, you find yourself getting pretty creative.
Yeah.
And you find that you can actually do a lot of things that you thought were going to be a lot more expensive, but actually, are within range.
That's cool.
We made it work. We had a great stunt coordinator and a great team that went above and beyond in putting this together.
And how much of it was shot on LED?
So we did 4 days there. We did 1 day in a private jet set. We did 1 day at a house, and then 4 days at the LED stage. So quite a bit.
Yeah, and total 10-day shoot.
6 days.
Total 60. Wow, that's amazing.
Right?
6 days.
Wow, how many pages a day? I guess a couple of pages a day now.
10 to 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you could teach some Hollywood people some lessons with that one. That's pretty amazing. And are you feeling like you want to do more of this? Is this is this kind of where you want to live? How did it feel to do something that was so well-rounded with like action and comedy and romance? Like, is there more of this?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do the next one. Cannot wait.
We got some big stuff planned, Mark. We got some action that's gonna throw you out of your seat.
Is that so? When is that coming? How's that lined up?
I'm a scrappy startup, right? So I've got each thing we do, we kind of raise independently, and or we have film funds. So we have a title that's I don't want to give away too much, but I would just say it's going to be probably pretty mind blowing when we pull it off. But it's going to be fast paced action adventure nonstop. So we're raising the money for it now. We hope to shoot it over the summer. And it's gonna be pretty cool, something spectacular.
That's awesome. And I have a question about IP. How does IP work? I mean, do you look for stuff with IP? Are you creating your own? Like, what's the plan with that?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like when I started this, so I came about the space where I was in London prepping a movie last year and scouting in Spain. I was on a train reading a Financial Times article, and I came across the microdrama space about China being 4 billion last year, 7 billion this year, and just the curve going straight up. And I just dove into it and wanted to know more about it. For the business side, I just kind of spent a couple of weeks really diving into it and went back to LA, emailed Kasey. 2 days later, we sat down for a couple hours and just talked. He just told me all about the business. And that's when I learned about Love Under Fire, and we invested in it and learned a lot. And I just wanted to kind of understand it and watch it and be helpful when I could be and just let Kasey do his thing. But immediately when I knew this was something I wanted to get into on the business side and raise some money for the tech, I started developing kind of my own IP inside. And I put a limit. I said, you know what, I'm going to do 3 to 5 a day for the next 3 months. And I did. I ended up writing just random pitches. I sent them to Kasey and be just one after another. I'd just be sending pitches. So we have over 100 probably, different stories IP. And what we do is what I like about it, because the studios, I'm talking to some of the studio partners I work with, is you can incubate IP here, right? You can try things out. So for 150 to 225,000 or 250, you can go make or Love Under Fire is cheaper than that. You go make a series and see if the IP is working, right? And it's a test case. And I talk about this, it's hard to even get a treatment out of a writer for that price when you're doing a big movie for a studio. So the IPs, you could do 2 things. You can incubate it in-house, test it, or you can find web novels and take those books that are working and create a microseries out of it. So there's a few different ways you can do it.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
And Mark, I also want to say that with the vertical space, up until this title, the platforms commission all the work, right? There's not a market of people making series on spec like this. So this, to what Tommy said, this is a risk, an experiment, a test to understand, to what you said in the beginning, to answer the question of, well, how does this business actually work? What are the numbers? What's the waterfall? What goes on? And that will inform then how we make future series and do investments and things like that. So just wanted to point that out. That's not a model that's has a precedent.
Yeah, it's kind of, you're creating it.
And it's still kind of not a model either, really. It's interesting, there's more people doing it, but it's like for Veyou, it's like we're not making, we didn't raise $100 million and making all the content inside the tech stack. We're funding it outside the tech stack, which is totally opposite than all the companies that are out there, which is cool. And I like it because it could be, you could go make one and put it on our platform if it meets the standards. Kasey can go make another one. Any producer can come to us. And I was just at South by Southwest 2 weeks ago, and I had half a dozen people come to me after I talked and was like, I have one. And different people that are very, very experienced on TikTok, people that are on YouTube, people that are writers, actors, whatever. And they're all like developing stuff for us now, and some really good stuff, I think.
So this is completely from another side of it, but is the goal at any point to take a vertical, have it be successful? I mean, is there any other life for it?
Yeah. So what we're doing at Veyou is we're shooting everything, horizontal. So and then framing for vertical. So it's kind of like if I was shooting a feature and I was shooting like Trek or Star Wars or missions, like where we shoot in IMAX, but you're framing for normal, most theaters. We're doing the same thing here. So we always have the media to turn it over to, if Tubi calls or Roku calls and goes, oh my God, that series is really cool. Do you actually have the media where I can put it on, horizontal? Yeah, we do. And we just have to edit it and do it. So we have the media for that. I think the other thing is, when you talked about IP, is like some of the studio partners I'm talking to is, they have big franchises, but they have character number 5 or 6 that they're like, people seem to like that character. Maybe we can develop a story within a vertical space and test it out and then see how it goes. And then maybe it becomes a TV series. So I think there's a lot of play here that, when Kasey says, and you ask, like, is this business, like, it's a model that it's very much day by day. It's like a tech startup. It's changing quick and rapid, and if you don't keep up to it, it's going to pass you right by. So that's why you just have to get in and be relentless with it and just do it. And what I love is the fast-paced nature of it. We can be sitting here having a conversation today, and we could be shooting in 2 months or less. By the time you write a script, and then it's on the platform 12 weeks later.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I read that Lifetime, I think Taye Diggs is doing a movie for Lifetime, and they're also doing a vertical connected to it, I guess, to move traffic towards their movie. They need that. They don't have that many viewers, so that's going to help a lot. And what about brands? How do brands fit? There's all this conversation about brands these days in television and film, and their brands have studios. Do brands play into what you're up to?
I mean, for Veyou, and I'll let you jump in, Kasey, but we have a few brand partners that we're working with right now. Like I have an agency or two that we're talking to. I've got my agency, WME brand department working. So we're actively writing scripts for a brand for a couple series right now. And it's really what we do is, the way it's been working with them is we get introduced and they're like, well, we'd love our brand to do this. And we go, actually, we have a story that's centered around this. What if we populate it with what you want and then see how that works? And I would say the process right now has been really, really good, because if you think about it, the price point we talked about, right?
Right.
So now you go shoot a vertical and a story that's putting the brand into the place where they want it to be put, in front and center. And they're getting at least an hour and 20 minutes of content to cut their media, have their creative department cut media, and then put it on social. And that's kind of a no-brainer, in my opinion. You can go make a commercial for $500 to $1 million at the cheapest, probably. Or you can pay for, let's say, premium vertical for $200, $220, and you get over an hour of brand advertisement. That's that's pretty good spend, I would say.
That's great. Are you using brands in the same way?
We will. I mean, exactly what Tommy said. It just makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And it's something that's going to be a major development in the next year within the vertical space. Are these companies doing completely branded series?
Yeah, we have one that just happened last night, so Kasey doesn't know about this, but we have a romantic comedy, series that we're going to do, and a brand approached me, a men's clothing brand, and was like, yeah, we would like to fund 3/4 of it, and put our brand in it, and we're not forcing it upon you, but put it into the story, maybe wears it or what have you, and it's like a good play. It's like I said, you can do it in a very, very organic way that just feels like it should be there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. And so, economics wise, and I don't know if you know or if you want to disclose it, but how does it so if a brand pays for the whole thing, like where does the majority of the money come from? Is it from clicks? Is it from people signing up or paying for it? Like where does the majority of the money come from the market?
There's a few places you could do paid ads, right? So ad tier where you have paid ads. How the business is set up right now are micropayments or you pay weekly or monthly subscription for the series, or you can go on and pay as you go. At Veyou, we're doing something different at the beginning, partly because of a business and a build out, is you can buy the series and watch the whole thing. And we actually have a distribution deal with Google as well. And we're doing the same thing for Love Under Fire on Google TV, where you can buy the pay. It's like going to the movies. You buy a ticket, you watch the whole entire series. And I think for brands, they get eyeballs, right? So they get extra traction. And then, but there's a lot of different kind of revenue streams for the actual payments of the series themselves.
So then the revenue stream is not, so it doesn't even, I guess paid ads is when people click on it on YouTube, but you're not going to be on YouTube that way, are you?
So you usually market on like Meta and or TikTok, and then you can watch for a certain amount, and then that drives your traffic. You got to pay, you hit a paywall, and then that traffic drives you to the app. And then you pay, and then you start watching, and then you can, a certain point, once you have traction on your app, you can get paid ads, and then you can watch ad-based tiered as you go as well. So there's a few different channels of it.
What's coming next for you? Like, what do you see as the next step for you?
Well, the goal right now is to get Love Under Fire out, make it a success, and then take the success from that and then just go full on into a slate and continue to produce independently and make stories that I want to make. I'll still act in the vertical space on the talent side, but I will be going more into traditional media on that side. But I want to go full on into vertical producing.
Yeah, that's exciting. So the platform launches on April 7th.
Yeah.
And people can see Courage. No, not Courage. Why do I want to call it Courage Under Fire?
Courage.
That's a good name.
That's a good name. Love Under Fire is a lot better name. Can I run the trailer on this? On this interview? Yeah. Okay, good. Because this great trailer.
We just as Kasey was pulling in your parking lot, I hit him up on. We just launched our social channels for Veyou, so we're starting to pump it out there. Starting to do media, so we're starting to pump it out there. Our distribution deal with Google will come out about the same time as well, and then. Kasey will talk to you about our play in the Philippines, and we have distribution channels there. But yeah, on April 7th, you'll be able to download the app. You'll be able to go to Veyou and watch the trailer. We're gonna have some cool behind the scenes stuff that we're gonna do for promotion as well. And then I think like Kasey said, I mean this, listen, he's got a great co-star in this as well, who's fantastic, and this thing has a lot of legs, and you can go into a sequel with it. I think there's more to come in this space, a lot more. And then we're also launching in the Philippines in May, I think, right?
Yeah, May 5th.
Kasey?
So is there anyone else you want to shout out from the movie you did, from the vertical you did? And
well, obviously, in addition to Tommy's invaluable help with the post, I have to shout out the director, Timothy Hoffman, who was also the digital artist or AI artist or whatever you want to call it, who just put in hours upon hours perfecting these sequences. And then the primary editor, Chris Kinsman, I mean, they went all in, and it wasn't like I was able to pay them a bunch of extra money through this post process. They were just like, we want to make this as good as it can.
That's cool.
Because we know this is going to lead to something. And, I could go on and on about them, but they're incredible.
That's cool. You seem really proud of it.
I think, Mark.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. It's a great. I have to tell you, just from like looking in, and it's like it's like those guys like worked countless hours, like Kasey said, and just were. I mean, I'm in Dublin now, so I'm ahead. So I was like, wait a minute, I'm barely sleeping. Like, Chris, how you sleeping? Like, they were just like nonstop, and between Maurice and Roberta, who were the producers on it, they were like relentless as well, making it perfection. And I think also like I really want this to succeed for all of them, for Kasey, but for the investors and an independent, you've done independent projects a lot, anytime you do an independent project, you just want to pay it back and make sure everybody is like reaps the rewards for it. The fans love it. The investors, get their money back so we can do another one. And I also think like this is a really good one for the fan base as well, because it doesn't have your usual tropes that go along in the microdrama space sometimes that are, you get slapped or you get this or that. This is a big swing from Kasey, and I think people will like it, and I think they'll love the action of it. It's ambitious, and it's going to be a blast.
It sounds like definitely a big swing, but you're really proud of it too. You're proud of what you did here.
Oh,
why should people go check it out? Like,
well, I mean, look, if you're a fan of action, you're a fan of action romance. If you grew up on the 80s, 90s type of action movies, this is also an ode to those. And, look, there's so much going on in the world right now, and we need movies that we can just escape into and have fun with. And, that's kind of the charm of the vertical space as a whole. But to what Tommy said, we've removed some of the, darker elements that are typically present in some of these stories. And it's just a feel good movie.
Feel good action movie with the Tom Cruise of Verticals, Kasey. Before I need to ask you another thing: does anyone in the world connect you to your female co-stars? Do they ever say like, "Oh, are you guys dating? Is there a real romance there?"
I mean, I will say, with these shows, the main couple's chemistry is a big selling point. That's a big piece. But I personally don't play into any of that.
So people want to, just like in the 80s, you want to see those people get together. You'd see a movie and you'd see two people together. You'd be like, you wish they got together.
Well, I did get together with one. I do have somebody that.
What?
So.
Wait a minute.
Vanessa Von Schwartz, shout out.
Oh man! All right, here we go. That's a whole other show.
Yeah.
If people wanted to go back and check out one of your many, many verticals that you've done, the series, which one are you most proud of, or can you at least name one that really stands out for you as something that hit a lot of people and people loved it and you loved it?
Yeah, well, I mean, the first one that I did will always have like a special place because people still talk about that one, Faded to My Forbidden Alpha. And then the other one I would say, because I got to play not a villain, but like an anti-hero type. It was loosely based off of Face Off.
Oh, cool.
It's called The Love Switch,
wow.
Where me and another very popular male lead, swapped bodies and identities. Cool. And, we sort of went at each other. And it was just different. It was fun. And that it was a risk of a story. And, with this format, that's going to continue to happen. The genres will continue to expand, and we'll need people who are forward thinking and willing to take the risk and put it out there.
Okay, guys, I'm going to check out The Love Switch.
Yeah, Love Switch on Shortstop.
And do you guys, who does the music for these things?
Oh, well, hey, I'm right into it. I'm like the beginning step. So we're we on the one that we're making now. So we just wrapped one 2 weeks ago. It's in post right now, and we'll do a combination of originals, and I've got composers that will kind of do some of the music for this stuff. And who did it for Love Under Fire? It's probably a combo of the same thing.
I mean, transparently, there's a lot of AI services now that can generate some great music if you give it the
Like
right
score type music.
Yeah, and it was incredible how it turned out.
Wow.
And it was all Tim and Chris. We didn't use any composer, any outside service.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't say you guys should check out extrememusic.com. Extrememusic.com, best in the business at needle drops, and they even have Hans Zimmer as a composer on there. I think he's a partner with Russ Emanuel, but they are the sponsors of our show. So I want to mention them because I use them on all my movies. Tommy, you got to use them on Top Gun and all those films. You must.
I'm sure I have. Yeah.
Well, I take that back. We used extrememusic.com. That was incredible.
They are fantastic, and you should check them out.
Maybe they can help fund a vertical. We got one that's extrememusic.com.
You know what? Let's go to Russ Emanuel. Hey, Russ, if you're listening, we want you for a vertical. It'll be fantastic. We'll put you in. He could be a villain in the movie. But extrememusic.com is a wonderful service. If you're in a pinch and you need like a certain kind of song, you just punch it right into their website. They use AI and they give you a million
that's
choices.
great.
Yeah, it's really cool. In fact, my wife and I were watching a commercial the other night, and one of the songs I put in my documentary that I love was on the commercial. So it's non-exclusive. People can use it. Every different formats, commercials, movies, everything, television shows, verticals, but Extreme Music for all your music needs. But anyway, I mean, look, I think we covered a lot of ground here. I'd love to have you back on, talk about like your full career. Last thing I'll say is that, you kind of lived the dream, right? You came to Hollywood, things didn't quite work out the way you expected. And probably at the lowest moment, you end up breaking through, coming out of the ground like a phoenix, right? Like into starring in verticals and being, the main guy in this field. So what advice do you have for other actors that are coming into town, filmmakers, producers, entrepreneurs? What advice do you have for those guys?
Well, I think, and maybe to myself to a degree in the beginning, when you go into acting, you want to, do these big movies, you want to do these artistic movies, you want to do all these things. And, in the beginning in this space, I know there were some that were like, this is beneath me. I don't want to do it. And I understood we didn't really know much about the space, but my advice would just be to embrace every single job. Give it your 100% effort, treat everyone well on set, and it will lead to somewhere good.
That's great.
And it beats just sitting on your couch.
Yeah, that's good advice. And if people want to produce Top Gun, Maverick, or Mission Impossible, what advice do you have?
Man, well, hey, we've talked about this. It's like I love what I do, and I love every day. I was on set last week, and I was walking through a dark stage and tripped over something, and walking around the corners, and ran into Tim, and I was like, we're chatting. I walked away, and I was like, I just love making things. I love doing what I do, and I think what you need to do in this business, it's even harder to do it now because it's just we're at a place where it's hard to get things made. But I think the beauty of it is you've got a movie, camera in your pocket, your phone. So if you want to direct, grab it and go. If you want to produce, get the friend who's the director and the actor and go do it. I think you just got to go do it. Put your head down. It doesn't happen overnight. I mean, we've known each other a long time, man. And you know how much, you've been away from your family. I have for many months, and you wake up at those 3 a.m. call times and you go to work, and you just have to really grind it out.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it pays off, and you just got to keep working hard and stay dedicated. You got to follow through, and you just got to keep attacking it, and it will work out.
Yeah, it's a hustle, man. It's a hustle, but you guys are the best in the biz. How did you guys meet? Last thing, how did you guys meet?
I emailed him.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How did you get his email?
I went on IMDb Pro and got his email. Sorry, Casey.
No.
And I just emailed him. And
Glad you did.
You know what? You got to do what you got to do. You're a producer.
Yeah.
I said, hey, let's chat.
Love Under Fire, April 7th. Tommy and Kasey team up for this amazing action-packed love story. Check it out. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Go to Veyou.com, sign up, and then go to the App Store, download it, and watch it.
How do you spell that just so people get it?
Veyou.
We'll put it in the comments. Also, yeah, like and subscribe. And if you want to hear more about Tommy's full career, there is a podcast that we did back in the day, the first time he was on, and we covered from zero to Top Gun. So if you're interested, Top Gun Maverick, sorry. If you're interested, it's an amazing podcast. Tell you everything you need to know about Tommy and his career and what rights and lefts he took. And it's really fascinating. So check it out. But dude, thank you guys so much for being on. This is like the first time we ever did a remote from Ireland. And you're in Ireland doing what?
Wednesday, season 3.
Yee, can't wait, man. Let's go.
Got to get it out.
All right. Well, that's exciting. Kasey, congratulations. This is super exciting. Tommy, congratulations on all your successes. And hey, we'll see you guys next time on Film Hustlers.